For as long as I've had this YouTube channel, I've been through a half a dozen different offices and multiple setups in each, many of which were just a desk and a computer in my bedroom, but it was an office nonetheless. And today, I want to take you through an office tour, what I coin a coder's workshop, for what I assume will be my office for the rest of 2021. And as much as I wish I could call this office space my dream setup, it is not. While I am very happy with the fact that I have multiple monitors and my NAS server there, and basically this setup right here on top of the desk itself, that's not my dream desk. The filing cabinet, that's not my dream filing cabinet. The walls, I would do a lot of things differently. I decided to hold off on pouring all this money into a dream office until I build my house, which is exactly what me and my wife are saving up for now. But I will admit, this is my favorite office that I have had so far for various different reasons. Those reasons will be laid out as we go through every little thing in this office, and this will be an extensive view at this office and everything that I have in it. And I want to start off with what we have right here, which is my setup. So let's start off with my headset. This is an old headset I've had for a very long time, the Audio-Technica's M50s, and those are sitting on top of a Grove-made headphone stand. I'm a firm believer of the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And those are the case for these headphones. These headphones I really like. They are getting a little bit worn in places. So maybe in the coming year or two, when they do finally break or get completely worn out, I will upgrade, but for now, they do the job just fine. And the chair I'm sitting in is the Autonomous Ergo Chair 2. It is an incredibly flexible chair, if you will. I can adjust the lumbar support, the reclining position, of course the height, and a few other things as well. And I did remove the headrest because I felt like I was relying on it a little bit too much. And I felt that ever since I removed it, my posture has actually improved. But as far as the chair is concerned, overall, a solid chair. And moving on to the desk, this desk is a flexi spot sit stand desk. In all honesty, the only reason it is a flexi spot over something like an Autonomous or a Fully or a Jarvis or an Uplift is because a couple years ago, FlexiSpot reached out and they wanted to send me one for free. Actually, they've sent me two for free so far. They're no better than everyone else, but they do the job just fine. I'm able to set different heights on it. Just a click of a button, it can go to my desired standing position that I set, and then a click of a button again, it can go to my desired sitting position that I set as well. In all honesty, most sit-stand desks are basically the same, but this just happens to be what I have. And I do really like the tabletop or the desktop that they included with it, because I just love how these types of desks just kind of hug you. You're able to sit real close to the desk and it almost wraps around you ever so slightly, and I really like that in a desk. And working up from there, we have my old Corsair desk mat. And if I had to say anything about a desk pad or a mouse pad, is to make sure that the bottom will be able to grip onto your desk, because as much as I enjoy everything else that is in use that was sent to me by Grove-made, they sent me a desk mat that I didn't really like, because I realized that I move my keyboard around like crazy, and on the Corsair desk mat, it moves around just fine. But when I use the Grove-made one, it doesn't have any rubber on the bottom, nothing to grip onto the desk, so it just slides around with my keyboard, and I don't like that. My mouse I have had forever. It is the Logitech G602 wireless mouse. It has a lot of programmable buttons on the side, on top, and overall just a really good mouse for what I need it for. In any text editor or IDE or video game or any of my video or photo editing software, I have programmed the buttons on the side for what I need in each and every single one of those different software applications. So at the end of the day, I just highly recommend a mouse that has multiple programmable buttons that are within reach that you can customize for every single application that you use. It makes your life a whole lot easier. Or you can be like a lot of coders and just never use a mouse and everything you do through your keyboard. I've yet to reach that level yet, but maybe one day. And for my keyboard, I'm still using my same old Logitech Pro 10 keyless keyboard. As you can see, the years have been wearing on this keyboard with 2 keys missing, and I'm sure many more soon to come off. By the way, those broke off. I did not take those off or anything like that. They just broke. But behind you right now, I'll give you a little sneak peek until we get there. Yeah, you see that? That's what, 5 keyboards sitting over there. So I'm waiting to break those open. I just got delivered the final keyboard, so that's going to be in a future video, and we'll talk more about it later in this video. And always on my desk, I have some sort of coffee mug because I can't be working without coffee, maybe some hand sanitizer, maybe some chapstick. And just like the coffee, I always have my journal to write down anything that I want, any ideas that I have, or just kind of document how my day's going, like a diary, I guess. And sitting on top of my desk is a Grove made desk shelf, I believe it's called, and it has this little drawer that goes in there, which I rarely pull out, but it's there nonetheless. And just above that, we have my audio interface. This is a Focusrite Scarlett Solo. Now, I know you may not really care too much about a lot of my audio software, but again, this is going to be a comprehensive overview of everything that I have in the office. And I don't really want to skimp out whether you may care about that or not. I'm going over everything. I'm sure there are timestamps on the scrub bar so you can skip around as you wish. And something else that I want to note before we go any further is that everything that is in this office, really, I will link down in the description below. Most of those will be affiliate links, which are no cost to you, but I will get some of the kickback from that if you do use that link to purchase it. But back to the audio interface, this is where I plug in my headphones, and this is where I plug in my mic with the wire running up a blue mic boom arm and onto my mic, which is a Rode mic. In all honesty, I forget the model number. And on top of the desk shelf, I'll go over some of the other things that Grove Made sent me. They sent me this really cool brass pin. Now, it's an expensive pin. Supposedly some people like to buy expensive pins. I'm typically not one of those people. Well, I'm not one of those people, but they sent it to me and it is definitely the best pin I've ever used. I'm not saying I would buy it, but maybe. But then I also have this pin cup that has other pins, and then I have this planter, but I have no plant to put in the planter. And something I have made a dedicated video about is my Synology NAS server. NAS stands for Network Attached Storage. That means this storage, if I want it to be, I can connect it to the internet. So if I'm on my laptop and I go on vacation or I go anywhere, I can access this storage and everything that is on it using my laptop. Secure? It is secure in the sense of just regular computer security, but it's not like it's offline storage, which is more secure than online storage. But it is convenient to say the least. And I only keep it online when I know I'm going to need it when I leave. And sitting on top of that, as well as to the right of my monitors, are speakers. These are Kanto speakers, nothing too special about them, but I do like the sound of them, and they are a good price for what they are. They also match my black, white, wood, goldish theme that I've tried to establish here. I haven't done the best. Again, this isn't my dream office, but it matches everything else nonetheless. And then we have the display. So these displays are both Asus displays, 27-inch. The bottom is a gaming display, an ROG Strix or whatever it's called. And the top is just a regular 24-inch. Again, I'll link everything below. I don't know all the model numbers off the top of my head, but they are both 1440p monitors. The gaming one, of course, gets something like 144 hertz, which I actually can tell the difference and I really enjoy with everything that I do, but obviously gaming, which I haven't done in many months, but it's nice to have a nice crisp screen to use. And those are on a stacked monitor setup, sitting on some sort of stand that I bought off Amazon. They would be better positioned if I didn't have this desk shelf, because I would transfer everything down. It'll be a little bit easier on my neck, but overall, it's okay. Not the stand, not the monitors, but the setup overall. I set this up because I wanted to try out stacked monitors. That's why I bought the arms. I wanted to set it up just like this, and I like it. But I remember early on, I tweeted out how it was like cranking my neck, but I feel like I've gotten used to it. And I don't mean that in a bad way, like I've been forming bad habits because of it. I actually think it's helped my posture, as funny as that may sound, but also I can't really move it around because I like how this setup is and I want two monitors. So I can't put one monitor in front of the computer. I want to be able to see my computer, and I can't put this monitor in front of my NAS because I want to see my NAS and I need access for my mic. I'm just in a little bit of a predicament, but overall, it's okay. And now to the setup itself. You have seen me plan it on this channel. You have seen me build it on this channel. You have seen me order a bricked RTX 2060 Super and get it replaced by NVIDIA. And then you had NVIDIA send me a really nice $2,500 RTX Titan when I was doing a lot of machine learning stuff. And just last month, well, not many of you saw that I cleaned it, which was very satisfying, if I must say so myself, but y'all didn't seem to care. So anyway, everything is inside an NZXT case. Everything is set on a Gigabyte Aorus X570 motherboard, and it is all being powered by an EVGA Supernova 80 plus gold standard 750 watt power supply. Now let's start off with the CPU. The CPU is an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X. It has done everything that I have thrown at it, and surprisingly enough, I am still using the stock air cooler that came with it. I always thought that I would do a custom water cool setup with all the cool piping and whatnot, but I never got around to it. The RAM are the G.Skill Trident Z RGB, which I always just set to white anyway. 16 gigabyte DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM, and that is 2 sticks of 16 gigabytes, so my entire system has 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I don't believe I've ever maxed it out. Now, my original graphics card in this build is actually sitting on the shelf behind me. It is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 Super. I got the Founders Edition because I thought that looked way cooler. And then sometime last year when I was making all those machine learning videos about beating Tetris and beating Breakout and Sonic the Hedgehog, those types of videos, NVIDIA reached out and they wanted to send me their AI machine learning graphics card, which I made a video about when I received it, and it is the RTX Titan. And I don't mean to flex when I say this, I'm just astounded at the fact that this is a $2,500 MSRP price, mind you, graphics card, because this graphics card is more expensive than the rest of my setup. And I also have two 1 terabyte sticks of NVMe storage. The first one I bought was the Aorus, and the second one I actually received from Western Digital, which I also use as well. So between those 2 terabyte NVMe, a 256 gigabyte SSD, and my 40 terabyte NAS, yeah, I have a lot of storage. Moving on to the wall behind me, as you can see, I have these sound dampening panels. They are the ugliest thing, but they're slightly better looking than the generic sound acoustic panels that you see, and they do actually help. But over the window here, I have this curtain. Well, I'm using it as a curtain. This is just something that I wanted to basically use to create, allow that window to be used as a big softbox. So when the sun is coming in, it is not shining directly in. That diffuses that and softens up all of that light for video purposes, as well as when I work in the morning, that's east facing. So the sun shines right in and there's a big glare over everything. So moving on to the corner that you know is my backdrop, hanging up on the wall is this art piece, if you can call it that I painted using paint-filled balloons as well as spray paint as well as my fingers. I don't know if anyone can actually tell this, but on the top half, it is actually a wave, you know, on the beach that you could surf, because I like to surf, with the sun rising behind it, shining bright, and everything is just nice and happy on the top half. And then the bottom half, upside down, skyscrapers, buildings, graffiti, pollution, that type of stuff that you would find smogged out in a big city. The type of living that I don't really care for. I like living out in a secluded area near the beach. That's what I enjoy. And the inverse of that is the highly polluted city with a bunch of people, a bunch of buildings, concrete jungle. Or in other words, the top is happy and good, the bottom is bleh. But let's move on to the shelving and everything that is on it. Starting from the top, we have my very first graphics card, the GTX 970 by MSI, when I built my very first PC ever. Obviously, like everybody else, I was going for that black and red theme. I have enjoyed that theme ever since I was a little kid in preschool. So I figured when I was around 19 years old, I wanted to build my first PC. That's the color scheme I went with. And just in front of that, I have the aforementioned RTX 2060 Super Founders Edition. I would actually like to get that in some sort of crypto mining rig, just as something small, as a little experiment, just to kind of see how it goes. Let me know if you're interested in that, by the way. Next to that, I have something that I can thank all of y'all for, and that is my 100,000 subscriber plaque. Right now, we are just over 300,000 subscribers, and then maybe we can hit 500,000, and then maybe we can hit 1 million. That would be awesome, and then I could get the gold play button to put up there. But for now, I'm still stoked on just having the silver play button. And next to that, I have a wooden wood duck decoy. Wood duck, by the way, is the type of duck. It is made of wood and it has the weight on it because it was actually used back in the day before we had all of these plastic decoys that you would use hunting. Moving to the bottom shelf, I have a bunch of random books, C++ programming books, object-oriented programming books, a lot of things from college. But my favorite book up there is definitely the one with spirals right here. I'm not going to show y'all, but it is my ancestor heritage, and I really love that stuff. It has a lot of stories about my ancestors, family trees, and stuff like that. Very, very cool. Definitely my favorite. And then next to that, we have this card with pregnancy tests that my wife gave me when she found out she was pregnant. Now, remember, I said the Heritage book was my favorite book, not my favorite thing on the shelf. That is definitely my favorite thing on the shelf just because of everything that it represents. And next to that, kind of being used as a bookend, is a bottle of Jack Daniels that my buddy gave me to be a groomsman. I will probably never drink it. I just think that is a cool thing to have, the bottle with the liquor inside. So I'm just going to keep that up there for now. And next to that is another wooden decoy. Now this wasn't actually a used decoy, just a carved decoy. It is a whistling duck, or the full name, I can never say it right, a fulvous whistling duck. This is a drake or a hen, which that means male or female, while previously I forgot to mention that the wood duck up there is a drake wood duck, so a male wood duck. With ducks, and I guess birds overall, the male is very colorful. They're trying to entice the female or the hen to mate, if you will. So that's why if you notice mallards, which are the most popular ducks, the drakes, they have the green head and all these colors. And the females, they have a little bit of blue on the wings, but they're mostly gray or brown, tannish. Most hens are like that as well. But in this case, drakes and hens are basically the same for whistling ducks. And next to that, this is my cigar humidor. This is also given to me to be a groomsman, but in my brother's wedding. I like cigars every now and then, and that's where I keep them. And y'all kind of like how I stood it up because it was a little longer than the shelf. I just drilled some screws down in there, and that kind of serves as my ability to prop it up and display it a little bit better than it just sitting flat on the shelf. I was pretty stoked on that idea, I'm not gonna lie. And then next to that, there are a bunch of other ducks. I know I'm nerding out on the ducks a little bit, but the little wooden one, that is a bufflehead. The one next to that, I actually don't know what that one is. I don't even know if it's a real duck or if it's just like someone's interpretation of a duck. And then the two brass ducks, they kind of look like mallards, so we'll just call them mallards. And to finish off the shelf, we have a corrupted 10 terabyte hard drive from Seagate, but they made everything right and sent a fresh one over. I just keep this one because, I don't know, it looks cool on the shelf. And if y'all didn't know it was corrupted, well then you think I'm flexing just having 10 terabytes on my shelf that I don't even need. But then in front of that, we have this gold. These are gold flakes sitting in water that my dad got me when I was a kid. I was probably like 10 years old. He went on a trip and he brought it back, and I just like it. And if you haven't guessed by looking at the actual shelves that everything is sitting on, those were also sent to me by GroveMade, which I'm really stoked for because I am the worst decorator in the world. As y'all have seen, I never put anything on walls, so since they wanted to send me these shelves, I figured I have a few things that I want to put on them, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. And now below that, I have a bunch of random stuff because I don't really have anywhere else to put them. I have an old TV because, I mean, why don't you have an old TV? I have my very first PC build, remember, red and black, that I took apart for some reason when I was building this one, but I really didn't need to because I didn't really need any parts out of it, but I thought I did at the time. Anyway, on top of that, I have a surf pad because I broke the kicker on my current surfboard and ripped off the entire pad because the pad is basically useless without the kicker on it, which is that little hump in the back. So yeah, I just been kind of procrastinating putting that on. My guitar and my guitar amp that I really don't play because I don't really have any time to learn new stuff or keep up with it. I was never really that good anyway. And then my Cooperstown bat. This was when I was, I don't know, 12 years old playing AAU baseball, which that was my main sport playing growing up. And I always thought I was going to hang this on the wall underneath these shelves, but I never did, so it sits right there. Now, giving you a quick sneak peek into the closet, I have a really cool Pokemon / Yu-Gi-Oh collection. Nothing too crazy, but hey, it's what I got. Now, continuing to move clockwise throughout the office, right next to my door, we have this little mail hanger. And that is exactly what I put in there, is mail. I was also sent this really cool deal that's kind of like that, but from GroveMade that I just never sat up, so it sits forever on this table. Speaking of which, this table. Remember those keyboards I was telling you about earlier? Well, here they are. For some reason, in the span of the same exact week, I had 5 different mechanical keyboard companies reach out to me wanting to send me keyboards. I typically don't do that type of stuff. Like, I don't think I've reviewed anything in quite some time. Maybe one thing here or there, I'm not sure. But obviously I needed a new keyboard. So I told them I'm going to make a video with 5 different keyboard companies in there. I'm going to be completely honest about what I think of your keyboard and your whole entire process. Is send me one if you want. And 4 of them did. I don't remember the other company that didn't send me one because they were maybe they weren't too confident in their product, but I have 4 keyboard companies. One company, Equinox, actually sent me 2 keyboards. And then actually Keychron sent me all these different switches as well, which I was pretty stoked on. I need quiet switches now that we're going to have a baby here soon. But expect that video to come soon. I haven't even cracked open or tested any of them just yet. So I don't know. I think we're in for a treat. I'm pretty stoked to test all of those out and share that video with everyone. And directly next to that, something else that I need to test out is a mini PC. In this box, quite literally, is a tiny PC that is even smaller than the box. You may have seen it online as tech tips or various other tech channels, but they decided they wanted to send me one, and within the next month or so, I will be making a video kind of going over that. None of those companies, by the way, paid me. If it's trash, I'll tell you that it's trash. And for the record, when I do take on sponsorships, if they're trash, well, y'all don't see the sponsorships because I just say I don't care to sponsor your company because I don't like it. So everyone that I do take on as sponsorships that do pay me, I genuinely believe in their product. So take with that what you will. Let's move on. I have another wooden decoy, which is actually a Drake black duck. I have a bunch of fishing stuff, and then I have my laptop. My laptop that I haven't used in a while because I lost my charger when I went on vacation last month and haven't bought a new one. And then under that, I have random storage that I couldn't stuff in the closet. And I have the light that is reflecting off me, which is a SO28D made by Falcon Eyes. I have a tripod and my camera. I'll link all that below. I don't know how much y'all care about the camera, but I can't really record the camera without using the camera. Ooh, a mirror. I don't have a mirror, nor do I have my phone, which I was actually just looking for to, kind of reflect it. Anyway, that is my office. Obviously, it's a little bit more in depth than just a coder's workspace because, again, I want to have a workspace that I really enjoy, that I really like. And obviously, I make videos, therefore I need the camera, I need this gear, I need the light. I have all this random stuff that was sent to me by brands. So that also plays a huge factor in how I set up my space so I can get a nice shot when I record these videos. And hopefully one day soon I can show you my actual dream office, my dream coder's workshop once I build my house and build that out to the way I want. But until then, this is what I got. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like it if you did, that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you like coding, software engineering content. And if you haven't already, check out my last video because I want to make more videos like that, but I want to get more feedback from y'all. The current feedback is amazing. All of y'all that watched it, loved the storytelling, loved the cinematics, everything about it, learning about the hacking group Dark Side. So if you haven't checked that out, I really think you'll enjoy it, and I would love for you to watch it so I can make more content like that. And thank you for everyone who sent me stuff that I showcased in this video, like the Grove Maid and whatnot. Sorry for all my call to actions at the end of this video, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I'll see y'all next week.